Hi there, Pisces. Happy January 2017. I hope this video finds you well. There we go. Wow, butterfly theme, as well as wands. So lots of action, definitely so, as well as trying to achieve harmony and balance in some way. And I was actually meditating on you guys before I put the recorder on, and I got the sense of really wanting to put your ducks in order, right? The assembly of something, the preparation of something, okay? Quietly even, perhaps. But nevertheless, focusing. Focusing. Focusing on your priorities. Making decisions, I'm seeing that as well. Moving forward. Taking an active role, it seems, in whatever it is that you may be focused on. Okay, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes, it seems, right? There's a lot to consider as you move forward. So let's begin here. We're going to be having the distant past card right here, followed by the recent past, then your current state, followed by that will be your advice card, sort of the help or hinder card, as some may call it. Following that is going to be your near future. Following your near future is going to be the hopes and or fears card, and following that is going to be the final, most likely outcome. Then we're going to be crowning the reading with 3 cards. One being the energy that you really stepped into, that you harnessed, that helped lead you to your current state. The card following that is going to be the environmental energies at play as you move forward through the month. Following that is going to be the 3rd crowning card of the sort of energetic pathway that you're moving towards and along. Okay, so let us give it another shuffle here. Wow. Okay. You're ready for something to be complete in terms of what you're trying to bring to fruition. Lots of focus on material gains, lots of focus on career, finances, and bringing something to culmination in a way that's going to bring you freedom. Okay? Hoping to move on with something. And a lot of signs have been getting cards of culmination, right? This is a 10 of Pentacles. It's a 10. It's a culminating number. However, a lot of cards are getting them in reverse, as you also did. So there's a sense of being ready for a completion of some sort on one level, but it not being completely manifested in another, right? So anticipating a completion of some sorts. Okay. Here we go. Distant past. Recent past. Current state. Advice card. Near future. Hopes and or fears. And the final outcome. Wow. Lots of pentacles here. the energy that you stepped into that helped lead you to your current state, the environmental energies, and the most likely potential outcome, or the sort of energetic pathway that you're moving along. And let us flip the deck over to get a sense of the theme of the reading, okay? Definitely another sign got this card in addition to several others of these cards. There is a sense, right? I believe it was Libra. There is a sense of wanting to come out with something that you've been thinking about or you've been ruminating on for quite some time, right? There's this feeling of wanting to be ready to do something, to complete something, and to just fly onto a next chapter. So let's place these somewhere over here. Okay. All right. So there's this theme throughout the reading of flight, okay, of movement, of transformation, really. It's really about transformation, right? Because when we think about the butterfly transforms from a caterpillar to a cocoon, to a butterfly itself, right? Its state is variable, it changes, and yet it flies, right, effortlessly, with hope and true enchantment, really, right? So you have this element of flight, and specifically butterflies, as well as these two doves, right, flying, soaring through the air as the lovers. Okay, let me just make sure that we are recording here. All right, excellent. So, and there is a release point of stagnancy, meaning that you've been in a state perhaps where you were involved in something you didn't want to be a part of, and you're now flying up from that, trying to re-establish and achieve harmony and balance, okay? But maybe being even a little bit distracted, feeling like there is some form of chaos around you, distracted efforts, right? But nevertheless trying to achieve this harmony. And so it's something that you want to really get going, that you want to be very active about, that you want to pursue in an active way, not just theoretical, abstract thinking in your mind, as is portrayed by the Hermit card. The Hermit card is really one that speaks to hibernation, thinking in your head about something, seclusion, solitude, right? It's a 9. It's the number 9. So it's like the analysis, the thinking before the acting, before the completion, right? This is a 10. So there is this contrast between having thought about something, having theorized about something, having prepared for something, right? To, wow, right below the Hermit, you have its opposing card, really, which is the Chariot. Okay? Energetically, right? The Hermit is low to the ground. He's in the dark, right? Just with his own thoughts, really listening to his intuition. The Chariot is a horse that's earthbound, just running for it, free and wild, right? Going, focused for a dream. The sun is shining. So there is the Hermit is in reverse, right? It's like this period of time is over. You're now ready to move forward. Okay? So it's a transformation point. That's what I'm getting here, right? From being inside of your head, from analyzing a situation, preparing for a situation, and now wanting to take the first steps forward with it in some shape or form, okay? And you have another 10 here with the Wheel of Fortune, okay? And this is a rather significant change, an action forward, right? We have definitely in regards to your finances or your career in some way, right? With the abundance of pentacles here that popped out. And really in regards to a dream that you have, a wish that you have, something that you want to bring about that really instills in you a sense of wonder and enchantment, excitement, just dreaming, right? And so it's very much tied, right, to this sense of feeling the freedom of expression. I'm really getting that as well. Expression, personal identity, charging forward, right? Showing the world who you are, what you're about, what you really believe, right? While maintaining this balance, right? And really forming the foundation of whatever it is you're pursuing. Okay. Now, you have, let's see here. And so there is, right, an abundance of major arcana, the Lovers, the High Priestess, the Star card, the Wheel of Fortune, the Hermit, the Chariot. There is this is a very significant turning point, right? Even in terms of who you really are, how you portray yourself out to the world in some way. Okay? Now, looking at the elements at play, we have, again, an abundance of pentacles, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4 pentacles cards, speaking to the earth element, speaking to what is grounded and helps instill stability, right, around us, the tangible world, our career, our finances, right? So undoubtedly, even with this 10 of pentacles popping out, there is this regard to our the tangible world around us. Okay. And aside from pentacles, you have a significant number of wands. You have the Son of Wands. You have the Wheel of Fortune, which is really, wands are a prominent theme in the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. So I'm seeing that also as sort of the wands being put into play, right, on the wheel. Your efforts coming to culmination, right, and in the real world, right? The wheel being in motion, things moving on from this more passive, stagnant thinking state to one of action and movement forward, which is sort of like what the wheel represents, the turning of the wheel, the transformation and movement, also depicted by the number 10 on the Wheel of Fortune card. So, wand element here. Wand card here. This is the 7 of Wands. And you have 2 Wands cards right here as well. Okay? So definitely also a theme of action, passion, motivation, and movement forward. Change, right? Taking the bull by the horns, really, in a way, and making a concerted effort, right, towards something. And I'm feeling it again in regards to your financial state. Okay? But nonetheless, taking an active role in it, right? Or at least the personification of an active role, the desire to take an active role. But really, right, I see this as taking an active role in leaving a situation, a previous situation that no longer worked for you, flying up from that, and now starting at the 2 of Pentacles again, reestablishing the foundation, right? Making order within your daily life, your efforts, what you're working towards. Okay? And I say that because, right, I feel like still something is not quite manifested yet, right? Something is not quite yet put into motion, perhaps, right? But it will be, it seems, because you have the Son of Wands upright in your energetic pathway, okay? And you have the Seven of Wands in reverse, okay? In your current, in your near future. So let us take a deeper look here and really sparse out the energy at play. So you have a Nine of Cups as well. Wow. So a lot of culminating and near culminating energy. Whatever is sort of culminating is not quite culminated yet, but it's nearing it. So lots of nines, lots of tens. Okay, so it's sort of like the wrap up of an emotional cycle. And because we have this culminating energy speaking to so many elements, like the Pentacles element, the water cups element, right? It's very much, and I'm considering this kind of like the Wands element in this particular spread. It's really speaking again. It's reinstating, it's reinforcing this theme of a major transformational change of your being as a whole as it relates to your finances and your emotional satisfaction, right? I'm really seeing that in that way. Okay, so as the as the grounded and stable aspect of your life comes together, so too does your emotional satisfaction in your life. Okay, I'm seeing them as very much tied in this scenario. So other than that, you have another water card here. You have another Cups card, the Four of Cups in reverse. Okay, and you have the Seven of Swords. You have two sevens here, one of the Wands and one of the Swords. Okay, Seven of Swords in your advice position. Okay, so let's take a look at everything together and move forward with it. You have the Star card in your deep past, right? Speaking to a dream, a vision, an ambition, something that really means a lot to you, something that is transformational, right? Perhaps a decision you made on something that you wanted to pursue in regards to this, right? Look, this card and this card really speaking to the emotional satisfaction, even just the overall happiness and joy, right, of completing whatever it is this is. Okay, then you have in your recent past the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. So the Eight of Pentacles really, when you look at this card, speaks to hard work, systematic work, right? In a very strategic way, being incredibly focused on whatever it is you are working on, right? Wanting to reap the benefits and indeed reaping the benefits, right? But in a way that is not so much dynamic, in a way that is more reliable and regimented. Okay, so there's been some very hard work, right? But it is in reverse. And this could point to perhaps overworking in a way, right? Being overly precise with your efforts, precise with your with the work that you're putting into achieving the Star, and not necessarily in a bad way, but just in a way of saying that if this is upright, it's very much so. It's very emphasized. It's like When it's right side up, this spider is crawling upwards, it seems, right? When it's going down, when the card is upside down, it's almost as if the spider is returning, right? And reviewing the work that he's done as he spins this web. It's almost like a review, a cycling up. It's not just moving up and moving on. It's really sort of like this card, right? With this 10 of Pentacles not being quite ready yet. Really speaking to this 8 of Pentacles. Maybe this is why. Maybe because you're stuck in the phase of really, really, really trying to perfect the way that this turns out. Maybe, perhaps. And again, not in a necessarily bad way or anything like that. Just I think laying an emphasis on the work that's being put into the manifestation of your dreams and your hopes. Okay? Yeah, a feeling of it not being ready yet, right? Still in this phase of laying the foundation, really laying the foundation in a way that is solid, right? Paying very mindful attention to how you're moving forward, trying to bring this 10 of Pentacles about. Then, moving into your current state, you have this 4 of Cups in reverse. Okay, with the 4 of Cups in reverse, let's first look at it right side up. There is this feeling, right, of reclusion. This rat is in the dark, right? He's almost, it seems, in the brush somewhere, right? The moon is shining above him, but really there's darkness. Even the moon is dark. It's the color black. It's not yellow, right? It's black. So it's almost as if, right, this rat is hovering over these 4 cups of water. Water represents the emotional self, the sensitive, the feeling aspect of our being. Okay? And it's almost in a protective way, right? Almost in a protective way. And I'm finding it kind of in line with this card, right? If you look at these 2 cards, they're sort of similar, right? They're both down to the ground. They're both sort of in reclusion, tucked away, tucked in, and kind of out of sight. There's light above them both, right? But ultimately they are in the dark. Okay? There is a stagnancy to both of these cards. There is a reclusion. Okay? And a protectiveness as well. Also with the Hermit card, right? He's tucked away in his shell, protecting himself in a way, right? Just allowing himself to be with himself in his thoughts, ruminating. So I really find that to sort of align with the 4 of Cups here, right? The protection of some aspect of ourself. Just a moment. I want to take a closer look at this. There is almost like a vulnerability to this card as well, right? To both of these cards. There's a vulnerability. The rat is covering these cups of water, these emotions, to protect something, right? Some element of himself or herself. And the same here. Protecting listen in here. protecting him or herself from the influences of the outside world. I believe this is how it's read in this particular situation. Because the Hermit is a card of intuition, of immense intuition and wisdom, going within yourself to really listen to yourself, right? So it's in a way the protection, not so much the protection of physical protection, right? But the protection of wanting to go within, perhaps, to form your own personal opinions about something. Listen to your truth, right? Follow your intuition and guidance, okay? Sort of like protecting from outside influence over your decisions, right? This is really to like sort of make the decision, right? In moving forward, requiring that you protect your personal identity almost, even in a way, right? To be able to really listen in, tune in, and discover within yourself what is true to you. Okay? So perhaps it's been a period of even self-introspection, right? Discovering for yourself, within yourself, what's true, especially emotionally. So there's a protection over some aspect of yourself, even, right? One that is tied to your emotional satisfaction. But right side up, it's almost as if, you know, this isn't your current state. So, right? Yes, this is in your current state. It's almost as if, right, because it's right side up, upside down, the rat is now letting these emotions flow, letting the truth out, right? You thought about it, okay? You perhaps were protective over it. You needed the time alone to ruminate on it, and you're now able to release that that sense of seclusion. Okay? This is like an unplugging. I'm hearing like and imagining the cork popping out of a bottle, that sort of thing, with these 4 cups in reverse. Okay? Where you once were stagnant or still, right? Not really wanting to express and communicate about your emotions, you're now slowly opening up the way that you express yourself, maybe, or regard yourself. Okay? Again, speaking to that transformation. So, in your advice position, you have the 7 of Swords. Okay, what's interesting, these 2 cards, I always kind of see them as similar, right? The 7 of Swords is conveying a sense of indirectness. Okay, these swords are pointing in this direction. This one sword is pointing in this direction. This seemingly sly fox is huddled over this one sword, right? Peeking out with one eye at an onlooker. Okay? There is a sense of, similarly to this card, and similarly to this card, an element of holding back in some way, right? Holding back in some way, not being ready to release an aspect of yourself, either in the way that you communicate, either in your thoughts, either in your communication with others, right? Because swords are indicative of our logical mind, right? our reasoning, our intellectual capabilities. So, and both of these animals featured on these cards are sort of low to the ground, right? Not facing the viewer directly, but rather looking in different directions, not really entirely being direct and focused on speaking the truth. I really see this as still, right? Leaving some information to the imagination, not speaking completely yet about some matter at hand, right? So the Seven of Swords as your advice position, this is really also the help or the hinder, right? So this energy, tapping into this energy, can either help or hinder you. So this can be sort of read in two ways, right? And we'll get a clearer picture, I think, once we view the whole spread here. But the Seven of Swords in this particular position can be speaking to, especially when coupled with this Four of Cups in reverse, the caution against still holding back on some aspect. But I'm really feeling it more as the unplugging, right, of the emotional truth, right? Coming out of hiding with the way you feel about something, but still being careful with how you communicate it. Okay? Let's go through the spread and return once we get a clearer picture of that. In the near future, you have the Seven of Wands in reverse. Let me tune in here. You have the Seven of Swords right before the Seven of Wands. Almost leading into, right, the Seven of Wands card. But the Seven of Wands is in reverse. Let's come back to these two and first finish with this energy here. Let's move actually right up into the crowning energy, okay? The energy that you stepped into that really helped lead to your current state of the Four of Cups is the High Priestess in reverse. Okay, both of these are in reverse. Both are sort of depictions of an animal that's sitting, laying low, right? And my gosh, the High Priestess and the Hermit are so similar, right? They're both cards of intuition. This is the most intuitive card in the deck, the High Priestess, right? And they're both in reverse, right? So if we're going with this this theme of taking the time to listen to your intuition about something, being more in your head about something, right? Discovering something, to the outward expression of it, right? This card is very much in line with that, right? Right side up, it's like listening to your intuition. Really, he looks like he's just looking off in the distance, pondering something, but in a way that's just more listening, taking in information in a very relaxed, meditative state almost, right? So when he's in reverse, it's almost like, okay, that time is up. That time is up. enough of protecting the emotions, enough of hiding away, right? And depressing the expression, right? And flight. By contrast, you have this swords energy. Swords are so opposite, in a way, of the water element, of what speaks to intuition, right? Of the inner workings of ourself, the inner emotionalism. So swords are the air element, right? They're sharp, they're cutting. They are all about speaking, communication, truth, even perhaps argumentation. So you have a very strong contrast between where you've been, okay, where you've been, right? The state that really brought you to where you are now, and where you're sort of going. Okay. With the Son of Wands, right, that's very much speaking to action forward. Action forward. In a way that's enterprising, in a way that's confident, robust, filled with vitality and passion and insight, right? Going for it. This snake has his eye on something, and he's just coiling up around this wand that he believes and feels will just lead to something exciting and worthwhile and enchanting in a way. And it's right side up. So this is the energy that you're moving into. Okay? So there is this action forward. Action. And this Chariot is also a number 7. So you have quite a number of number 7s. Right? You have the 7 of Swords. You have the 7 of Wands. So these are all sort of speaking to movement, progress in some shape or form. I'm seeing this as think before you speak. Okay? You may be eager and ready, right? Just dumping out sort of the emotional truth of a situation, or of what you believe and what you've discovered while taking the time, right, to kind of ponder on it. But I think this is saying be really careful before you speak about it and before you present it, right? Because this card of 7 of Swords is really, this is like boom, like all of a sudden you have these 7 swords, right? Like you were in reclusion, you were quiet about it, and bam, now you're just ready to talk about it, but in a way that is not entirely giving the full story, right? There is still a caution and a carefulness about it. Okay? Sort of like saying keep one card to yourself sort of thing. Okay? Just be careful about how you make the transition from this quiet place to this really outward, expressive, extroverted kind of way of going about whatever this topic is. Okay? Because it seems like you're ready to fly, right? You want to move with it. You're eager for this to come about, but it's just saying be careful with your words and think about your words carefully. Okay, so in your near future, you have the 7 of Wands, right? In line with the 7 of Swords and the Chariot, which is the number 7. So all speaking to your movement forward, all speaking to this transformative state, right? You have the 7 of Wands really speaking to the action side of how you move forward. If this is how you analyze things and how you communicate things. This is how you actually take the movement and the steps forward. This is really representative of the actual change itself. That's what wands, the fire element, represent. So, and again, it's in reverse, so it's really speaking, I think, to take the time to really think before you act, okay? Before you take this step forward. So there's just a carefulness about it. But nonetheless, one that is still making progress and moving forward, okay? Yeah, okay. And what's interesting is that you have a 7 of wands here, you have a 5 of wands here, and you have a 6 of wands here. So 5, 6, 7, boom, right in succession. Okay, and then you have the Son of Wands right up top here. Really, I see this as a culmination of efforts, but in a way that is just simply saying, as you near the completion, right, go about it in a way that doesn't reveal everything quite yet. Take a slow approach, or just a more thoughtful one, okay? That was an important concept, I feel, to really hone in on. So, yeah, so let's move forward then. In your hopes and your fears, you have the Wheel of Fortune. But before we get there, actually, let's just switch right back up to the crowning energy here of the environmental card. You have the 9 of Cups, right? And this High Priestess is looking over at this 9 of Cups. Okay, and the color on this globe on the High Priestess card is of the same color palette as this 9 of Cups in the background, right? Sort of this mystical indigo kind of color. Turquoise. There's a magical feeling to it, and it is indeed magical. You do have the moon icon on both of them, okay? And it's right above this 4 of Cups, right? Where this rat is upside down, and these cups are now kind of falling out, and the water is being released. The emotions are being released rather than pent up. And so you have this 9, this culminating emotional energy in your environment, okay? So perhaps some element, some aspects of your environment is changing in such a way that is emotionally fulfilling for you, that is in line with the stability and the efforts that you're bringing forward, that you're moving towards, right? And this High Priestess, again, is looking over at this card, right? Kind of saying that what you've been ruminating on, right, is really tied to your happiness, is really tied to your freedom, is really tied to your self-expression and your movement forward, okay? So your environment is changing along with the efforts that you're making, and there is a shift happening in your emotional realm as it ties to your hopes and your wishes, okay? And now, and this can also be seen as the thinking and the ruminating about what kind of emotionally satisfying environment would serve you, right? The thinking about this, perhaps. That's another idea. But really I'm seeing this as the environment that you're in becoming more emotionally fulfilling, okay? As you move forward in progress through the month. So you then have in your energetic pathway the Son of Wands upright, right? This is really taking the stand. It's the Son of Wands. It's one of the highest expressions of the Wands energy, of the fire energy. So this is really, right, in line with the Lover's card, really going for it, making movement, true movement, transformation. one that's a journey that you're embarking on that's sort of new, that's fresh, that's exciting, right? Emotionally fulfilling. Same with the Chariot card. So similar to the Lovers and the Son of Wands. Okay? So again, there is this sense of really embarking, taking the first step towards making this change and this transformation. And this Son of Wands is looking kind of right over at these two cards here. Like, suggesting that it's time for the Chariot to move forward. Like, these two go hand in hand in a way, right? This inner transformation and change needs to take place for action to take place. Okay? Now, in your hopes and or your fears category, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so I'm seeing this really as a hope. I'm seeing this as a sort of anticipation, right? There's an anticipation of events. Wanting to see how everything comes together in actuality, in reality, right? Wanting this culmination. This is a 10. This is a 10. So, and it's again speaking to the wholeness, the roundedness of something coming together and the wheel turning, progress being made, right? This is completion. And these wands are very systematically and yet colorfully bound on the Wheel of Fortune. So it's like the efforts that you're making coming into action and effect in a way that is meaningful, right, in the world. So you want to sort of see your efforts come to fruition in the real world, sort of as you see it, right? And anticipating this transformation and change and movement, right? Wanting to see what comes of it. Being excited for this new phase and new journey, okay? Wanting to see how it all comes together and pans out. Then in your final position, you have the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, now let's take a look at these Pentacles cards here. You have the Eight of Pentacles in reverse in your recent past, and you have the Six of Pentacles in reverse in the final outcome position. So, again, speaking to, and also with this Ten of Pentacles in reverse, speaking to work that's being put in, right? That's being that's being manifested in some way, but not to its full completion. There's progress being made, but not to its full completion. I see this as like the planning stages, setting the groundwork and sort of the blueprint, right, of what you will be reaping. I see this as really being live in the stage of reaping these benefits, right? This is more systematic, organized, foundational. This is more actually reaping the harvest, right? So there is, even though we're going from an 8 to a 6, it's still speaking to different elements of the process, aspects of the process, of working towards something tangible. Okay, and I see this perhaps as, I see this really also as really planning for the future, very much so, right? Being so focused on it, really almost over planning maybe. This is an earlier energy of the tangible efforts that we put forward, right? And the reaping of benefits. So I see this almost as slow but eventual reaping of rewards towards the work that you've previously been putting in, right? You're not getting all 8 pentacles yet. You're getting 6. This is, I think, referring to previous efforts. Okay, but it's slowly coming in, perhaps because you had so broad of a focus in terms of how you were working towards something and laying the foundation, that slowly but surely, right, these pentacles are coming in. Just perhaps a little slower than the work you put into it, right? So there's a time release sort of feeling. Even so, with this Wheel of Fortune, time released. Things will happen when they're meant to happen. Things will happen as they should, right? In due time, in their time. So also with this card, right? Slow release. Slow release. It's not just like a floodgate, right? With the Lovers and the Chariot, all of a sudden, right? It's kind of, it's more paced. There's a paced energy to it. I think especially so with the Wheel of Fortune card, okay, which is speaking to that element. Okay, so thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope to have a mid-month reading for you guys, hopefully in the next week or so, actually. So stay tuned, and leave your comments. I am always curious to know how the videos do resonate, so yeah, please do connect, and I look forward to reading for you guys in another week or so. All right, great. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you then.